What's up, boys and girls? Just wanted to, I'm just out working on some saws, so I figured I'd shoot a video. I go kind of one thing that is a little bit a pain in the ass for some people, putting on the chain brake spring, the main chain brake spring on steel models like a 660, the 460, the 440. In my case, it's an MS250 clone. If you guys have seen back on some of my videos, I bought this saw for my wife back, oh gosh, years ago now, long before COVID. And see what your view looks like. So you won't be able to see my face, but I'll get you in on all the important stuff. And I kind of did a series a while back on this MS250 clone, which is, what is it? It's a G255. Saw cost like less than $100 when I bought it. Oh, wife's home. And one of the first big failures with this thing. So the wife decided, she has an MS180C, and I thought that she wanted a little more power, but she wanted something light, and this has a lot more power than the MS180C, but it's not any lighter, so she doesn't really use it. So I took it out and decided I was going to test the thing and see if I could kill it. And I cut firewood for a customer for a couple of years, dirty, in a dirty pile, not wanting to roach any of my good saws. I decided to see if I could kill this thing, and I really beat the crap. I beat this thing to death, and it's still running. I don't think that in my lifetime, let me qualify this, all right? So on my tailgate right now, I have a 192, I have a 461. I gotta diagnose some problems with both of those. And I've got a 272, and it's got a 61 cover on it. That's part of the problem with that saw. I've got saws coming out of my ears. Okay, so when I make this statement, there's a 394 in there. I think that's a 359. That's a 201, or it might be a 200T. That right there is a MS260. That's her 180C. I got mill saws up top. So I got saws coming out of my ears. So I don't make this statement lightly in what I'm going to say. In my lifetime, I have never purchased a better value in a saw than this saw right here. Never. Now, I would have to say that some of my clone mill saws get pretty close. They get pretty close to being able to make that statement. But this thing right here, for what it costs, what it's made me, and the few problems I've had with it, this thing has been an absolute fucking home run. So the battle with doing, this one's probably weak enough just for me to do it by hand, but the big battle, let me get you in a little closer here, make sure you can see this. I'm going to show you how to fix it. And this one's actually going to be easy because it's not that bad. I've never done one on a little one like this. I've only done them on the big 660s and on like that 461 right there, and they're much harder on those. But the battle with this right now is to get this spring around that knob. Now, this is an aftermarket spring. Typically, I've always just gone to the steel dealer and bought replacement parts for this saw when something's broken. In this case, I didn't. But I'm going to show you how to do this the easy way. And in all honesty, I could grab this with a pair of needle nose and do it right now. It's not stout enough for me not to be able to do it like on a 660. But I'm going to show you the way that is easiest to do it. Or for me anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, I have a screwdriver in my pack, but it's in my saw building kit, and that's upstairs, and I don't want to go grab it. So I'm going to show you how to make a tool very simply to get that spring on. And to full disclosure, there have been other people that have done this, so I'm not claiming to be the first. I'm just going to, see I got some screwdrivers sitting up in there. I'm just going to grab one I don't use very much, which is this. It needs to be a flathead. This flathead Stanley, and if it's doesn't have a big taper to it, oh, sorry, it's not coming in focus. If it's pretty straight on the sides, that's better in this case. So I'm going to show you what you want to do. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take one of these faces right here, and you're going to want to grind a, sorry, get in focus, a divot in it that will register on the stud. And then you're going to want to take these two sharp edges and just kind of smooth them over. It'll only take a second here. Just fire this thing up. And get the divot. So something, what we're shooting for, and you're not wrecking the screwdriver to do this, is something like that. I want to go make it a little bit further. That will probably work just like that. Just going to try and go a little further up. And I'll end up keeping this in my saw kit. I would not recommend grinding into going into the stone like this, but I'm on the rest, so it's completely safe. And then, so what this is going to do, hopefully this works. If it fails, then you get to see that too. That's going to register around the stud that it has to go over. And then for the spring to kind of slide down and snap off, if you can just kind of ease these two sharp edges right here, it'll make it a little bit easier. Just take those off real quick. Just barely take them off. They don't need, it doesn't need to be much. I'll just put myself in position. This is just so that the spring will slide off it. So the spring doesn't bite into it. Chill out. And like I said, I'm not wrecking the screwdriver or anything. You can still use this for whatever you want. See how I just kind of just barely rounded over these two sharp edges right here. Just took the sharpness off them. And then you get a divot like that on the other side. I could take some time and get that straighter. It really doesn't matter. So it's curved like my fingernail. Like that. Let's go see if we can pop the spring on. Pretty sure we're going to be able to because it's so wimpy. So see if I can get you a good view. And really, this is, of all my saws, this is the saw that I grab when I'm going out the door most of the time. So all you want to do is you want to put that groove edge, the nice little round that you just cut in there on the back side of the stud like this, and put this through here, put that groove edge on here, down low, see if it works. Let me get you a better view. And like I said, on the big 660s and stuff, this can be a pain in the ass for people. Just make sure you get a good view. See if I can just kind of get off to the side here so you keep your view. But anyway, I'm going to keep some downward pressure on the spring. Stick it on there, go like that. What is that right there? That was inside that spring. This is some other part for the chain brake assembly. Not sure exactly what that is, but anyway, that's how it goes on right there. So you put that, like I said, around this. Just basically pick up like that, and it'll snap it on. Does the same thing with a 660, whatever, doesn't matter. Check the function. shouldn't really check the function with this cover off because sometimes the stuff can all fling out of here. But yeah, it works perfect. Sorry, Popo. And I think, it's probably grease, probably lubed up enough in there from all the barn chain oil. Just gonna put it back together. Set these 2 screws back in. That part's fixed. Hi, honey. There's some parts at the Popo office for me. Did I have a little package at the post office? Oh, nice. Check the function again. Works perfect. Perfect.
Would you like your teeny tiny package?
Yeah, I would like my teeny tiny package.
Here's your teeny tiny package.
Thanks.
Are you getting taped right now?
I was, yeah. I just came out. Did you get your light for your car?
Yep.
All right. Do you need help carrying stuff in?
I expected.
Okay.
I can actually probably do it because I figured out how to check it and get the right one.
This one, whoa, that can't be.
That's
the old one. Okay,
That's
cool.
the new one.
I was gonna say. All right, I'll pop it in. Hey, while we're at it, how about bonus coverage? You wanna dress this bar? Oops, didn't do that. So I like to dress them whenever I'm putting one on. Let's get you over here. Now, if you can do this with a file, you can do it whatever you want. I like to dress them on here. Just really quick. So one thing I'll do is I'll sight down the bar rails and make sure that, let's see if I get straight, make sure that they're pretty square. You can tell by eye pretty much when you've been doing it a long time if they're, you know, they're the same height. I'm gonna back you up. I'm gonna go ahead and sight this one first. See if I can get your view up so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna sight in the back window of my shop. So these, the ones on this side are pretty really level. They're perfect. The ones on this side are pretty level too. They're perfect. Both of the rails are kind of leaned in a little bit like this, so they're worn in the middle a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and dress it. You can do it with a file. Remember, you can go back and I have videos on doing these with a file, but I was doing one. You see what I just did? Yeah, you can. Good. And I'm going to sight down. I did a good job. Good. Rails are nice and cleaned up. I'll give you another tight quick and then I'll dress the whole bar. See if I can show you how you can tell if you're square or not. I don't know if I can get the camera here right. Actually, I'm going to take you out for a second. If I can do it on Let me show you how you can tell if you're square if you're hand grinding it like I am. Some people are going to say, oh, you'll never get the bar rail square like that. Yes, I will. Believe me, I do them up to 56 inches, so yeah, I will. I'm going to show you how you can tell if you're square. Okay, so when this bar is sitting down, obviously it's sitting at an angle right now, right? There's an angle the other way. Get the view straight. Try and get the view straight down from the camera. You want to come up until your bar, you can't see the sides. So that's at an angle, that's at an angle. You're going to get it to where it's dead straight on the top and you cannot see the sides of the bar, and then you're relatively straight up and down. And if the bar's way out, put your back in the holder. If the bar's way out, I'm going to blue it up and I'm going to file it back. But trust me when I tell you that doing it like this, I'm getting this square. I mean, this is a perfect way to sight it to get it square. And I kind of use the worn out side of my this belt. This belt's pretty whooped, so it's not very aggressive right now. It's barely taking anything off. So both these rails are done. You can just get down, so I'm sighting down them. They're both even. They're even on both sides. If I sight down it, if I sight down this and I see that one side's higher, then I'll go heavier on that side, and just, it only takes 2 seconds. So I'm going to take the burr off now, or just deburr the sides of the bar. You want to do this corner, or the corners, you get focus, that corner right there. So I'm just doing that corner. Make sure there's no burr on the side of the bar. And sometimes up around the tip it gets pretty bad. So now this bar's done. Put this saw back together. So let's see if I can show you. So that's what I did on the edges. At one pass, just takes the burr off the side. The bar rails are nice and even. It's not going to focus enough to see it. The bar rails are all cleaned up. So this one's ready to go. Just turn my compressor off so it doesn't come on, since some douchebag bitched at me about it the other day. Oh my God, turn off the compressor. Yeah. Not everybody has a big huge shop with monster compressors in it. I have 3 compressors, and I have one of my field compressors just hooked up to a bladder, so it holds plenty of air to run impact tools and everything. And I am going to sharpen this chain really quick. I did grind it not too long ago. It's still cutting good, but I can see some glinting on the edge, so I am going to sharpen this as well, since it only takes 2 seconds. And then I'm going to get on with my day. Got to do some firewood. It's going to be cold. Hey, look it. We'll use our screwdriver that we didn't wreck. Oh yeah, look at that. We didn't wreck. We turned it into a brake hook tool. We didn't wreck it. Just blow out this cover. Just gotta set back a little bit. Blow out this cover. There we wouldn't want the compressor to interfere with your viewing enjoyment. So yeah, I mean, this saw right here, if I was in any type of business, in tree work, or on a farm, or any place where you've got to run a saw, I would have one of these on. I did put the Walbro, I think on this it's a WT215 carbon. This you don't need to. It functions fine the way it is, but it's just, I don't know what to say other than, you know, this saw has made me, just cutting firewood for people, dirty firewood. So it's nice to be able to file this little dinky bar. But just cutting dirty firewood, this saw has made me, oh my God, I at least 30 times what I paid for it. At least. Minimum 30 times what I paid for it. And I can't believe it hasn't blown up by now. I really can't. Alright, so that one is almost ready to go back in the pack. So this kit I ordered off eBay, instead of just getting the spring, I could get the whole friggin' brake kit for the same price as the spring. So I ordered the whole kit. It's got everything in it, the band, the little dog bone pieces, another cover. I think I've been promising this saw that what I'll do with it is, when it does finally blow up, which it will eventually, every saw is destroying itself from the time that you start using it. And I love the people that talk about how, well, it's a clone, it won't, you know, get an OEM. Well, here's an OEM 461. Locked up, OEM 461. There's an OEM 272, busted. There's an OEM 192 TC, busted. You know, anybody who's going to tell me that, well, you get an OEM saw, they don't break, it's bullshit. Saw shops are full of OEM saws that are broken. So when this saw breaks, it cost me $6 to fix it. I paid less than $100 for it, shipped. So if it breaks, it breaks. You know, I could rebuild this whole saw for what this 461 jug's going to cost me. You know, less. I could buy a brand new one. I could buy two of these saws for what a jug for that 461 is going to cost. So, you know, I get the arguments. I really do. I understand. You know, there's some people out there they just want to complain, and they want to, you know, oh, I got this and I got that. Look, I got it all. I'm sorry. I got it all. I can pull any one of a bunch of different saws. Got a brand new 372 coming right now too. Old school, new old stock 372 coming. I can't wait to get into that one. But to shit on these saws is just absolutely mindless. It's absolutely mindless. They have their place. Let's see if I get a new file in here before I have to go back to my kit. Yeah, That one's pretty good. Go with that one. On these little chains, as soon as I get enough room in between, I'll show you this, in between the raker, drag, depth stop, as soon as I get enough room in between that raker and that tooth, when they start to get ground down, to fit a 7/32 file, I go to 7/32. You guys want to sit around, what do we got on here, 25 minutes? You want to sit around and watch me file this whole chain? That's good. I'll be right in your way there. Let's get you maybe over the hall. It's going to be the best way. Maybe haul. So I do like having the saw vise. I'm just going to put them over at like 25 degrees. And the reason that I like the 7/32 file, took you out of the holder real quick, on these small chains, is because it gets the top plate. It doesn't get too deep in the gullet. You don't want to get too deep in the gullet and undercut the tooth. So this one right here is the one I just did with the black on it. And let me show you see if I can get the hook angle on it here. It's this one right here. Look at the hook on it. It's perfect. That's perfect durable hook angle right there. It's this one right here. And you can see the burr on the top of the tooth, but it gets all the way up to the top really easy. This file's not the best. I'm going to go ahead and file it anyway. This one was used on a rip chain guide. You can see these little dots. See these little dots right here? That means that this file was in a guide for rip chains at 10 degrees. And it sits in the guide a certain way, and when you wipe out that spot, I put a dot on it and then I rotate it in the guide and go until I wipe that out. So there's some parts of this file is still good. But let's go ahead and wipe through. I'm not really even taking anything off the teeth. Just kind of, with a 7/32 like this, it really does a good job on the top plate. I don't have to worry if I'm getting the top plate because the file is so big, it really, really does a good job getting the top plate. If you're wondering, when you see me going at it like this, if you're wondering what that tooth looks like, I'll show you. So this is the one I just did right here. You can see that top plate's nice and straight. Top plate nice and straight. These are a little less, actually that's a bad view because the parallax is making it look like there's way less angle on that tooth. It's a little less than the witness mark, but that's just kind of where I fall in. Doesn't really matter. See how nice and straight the top plate is. So I'm not willy-nilly in this, you know. I like to go on kind of my beater saws a little bit less than that top plate angle. Witness mark somewhere around 20 degrees. It's just a little more durable. Lasts a little longer in between filings. This one I just did right there. This one I didn't. Razor, razor, razor. Some of the gullets in the way on that one. If I see the angle way over, I'll correct it like that. I'm not taking enough off these teeth to have to redo the rakers. That's one side. When I do the other side, I go this way. I like to sit on top of the saw like this. How are you going to be able to see this? I get my saw box out of the way. If you can sit over the top of the saw box. I don't like that, so I'll show you how to do this side. Hopefully I'm not in the way. I like to get on top like this, file across this way. I'm correcting the angle a little bit on this side. It was a little bit shallow and a little bit too steep. So I go 5-30 seconds until it fits. And once it fits, right to 7-30 seconds. If the chain moves, I just lean against it. So let's do this. Might as well do the whole 9 yards, huh? You want to see it cut? Just get a load of logs in. Let me get this out of here. Let's test out the cut here. Test out the saw starting, test out the cut, test out the chain brake. Let's see what we got. I gotta take the end off this spruce right here, so I just get some logs in. You see the bony end of this spruce right here. We can true this up real quick, maybe cut off a couple of branches. Just go ahead and use that as our test gauge, see if it starts up. Assume it's got fuel in it. Let's get like that. You can see me better. Let's do a cold start. This is a cold start. It hasn't warmed up or anything. Runs good, cuts good. See, even that last cut where I went through that knot like that sideways. Good chips. Let's go ahead and see the chips and that little chain. Perfect. So that's it. This one's ready to go. Back in the till. Started right up. Cut's good. And one saw down. Now one that I can grab whenever I want and don't have to worry about whether it's sharp or whether it's going to start, whatever. So that's that little G255. Make your own decisions, but I gotta get at these other ones and see what's going on. I got to tear into that 461 and find out why it's locked up. So hope you guys have a great day.